Debnam, and I am part of a family operation located in Kennedyville, Maryland. We've had experience with small pen gestation in the past, and we even did 30 days created and then small pen gestation. We decided to look into some other options. Right now we have a 700 sow operation. In the past we were at about 300 to 350, and we are experiencing production that is equal or better to what our old farm was doing. I think a lot of it also is from the ease of managing the sows in the large pens. Every day when we get to work, we turn the computer on first thing. Overnight the sows have been eating, and we can look at a report to find out who's done what, and this is where we start with the gestation part. The next report we look at is the feed attention report. Today we only have 2 pigs that need any attention. Everyone has gone through the feeder by themselves. And then I look at each one of these individually. This particular one is in a pen that's getting ready to come into the farrowing house, so she's on an upfeed, and it's not unusual for some of our upfed sows not to eat everything. For the last 2 days, she's had 14 pounds allocated, and she's has 6 left that she hasn't eaten. I'm not going to worry about her. I won't even go look for her. And then I have this other sow here that's in a newly bred pen, probably been out there 4 weeks. She should be eating fine. That pen's not been much of a problem lately. I'm going to go look at her tag because she hasn't turned the feeder. But today I'm looking at our list, and I only have 2 sows on the 2-day list. That means they didn't eat yesterday, and they haven't eaten yet today. The first one I'm looking at is in a pen that's getting ready to come in the farrowing house, and it's on an upfeed. She's eaten, she has 6 pounds left of 14 that she's been allocated for the 2 days, and I'm not worried about her. And the other sow is in a pen that's been bred for about 4 weeks, and she has 11 pounds to eat and hasn't eaten any. I'm going to check her for a tag. She hasn't even triggered the system once, so first thing I would do is go find her in that pen. Weekly I do my pig movements. You need to breed the pigs. I do actually have to put the breedings in on a daily basis. That's on another screen. You go into the animal section, production, and there's lots of tabs here to pick the different things you want to do. This will tell you, this screen tells you everything that's happened to her that's been recorded on this computer. If you've changed locations, if you've crate checked her negative, what breeding group she's in, if you've had to re-tag her, what her new tag number is, and you click on a new action and you can pick from any of these actions to add something new to her. If I wanted to breed her, I would pick the AI action and give her the sire ID and a group number and hit OK, and that would be a new breeding for her. So the team system keeps track of location for us and how much feed they're giving. There's probably 10 different feed curves that we have set up. We haven't used 20. We've only used about 10 of them. Feed curve number 1 has the vast majority of all of our sows. It's a level of about 5 pounds, or it is 5 pounds of feed throughout most of the gestation, and we don't bump up until 91 days, and we dump up a pound, and then right before farrowing we give them another pound. Do I know if that's absolutely right? No, but it's kind of what we've arrived at by trial and error. There is the ability to give them adjustment on feed curve 1. If they were thin, they get an extra half a pound, or if they were over, to give them take away a half a pound. We don't actually use that capability. We only use that on gilts. On the sows, we have 5 different feed curves specified to body condition. Feed curve 1 is the normal feed curve for body condition 3. Feed curve 2 we have set up for body conditions of 2.5. They get a half a pound more. And then 3 we have set up for body condition scores of 2 at breeding. They're going to get a whole pound more. And feed curve 4 is for the extremely thin, they get a pound and a half more for most of gestation. We don't body score more than once in a lactation, or we body score at breeding and don't really look at them again. If we happen to walk through the barn and a sow jumps up at us and we say, my gosh, she's huge, we'll look at that specific one, but we don't actually go through at 30 days or 60 days and redo the body score. We try to get it right in the beginning, and we want to leave them flat. And I do have a fifth curve. That's for our body scores of 3.5, and they get a half a pound less. I do use the adjustments a little bit on gilts, because I basically just have one gilt feed curve. It got too confusing for me to use a lot of different ones. I could memorize a few. I knew that if I see a feed curve of 11, that's my gilt curve, and when she comes through the first fairing, I need to get her back onto 1 through 5. So the others that I use are probably a training curve. I have a curve for slow eaters. We found that some just don't seem to finish their feed up, so we put them on a different dispensing rate. You can change the rate down here at the bottom, how fast the auger is going to dump feed into the feeder. Basically, we use counter attention, which is one of your reports you can create to move into the farrowing house. We do a lot of our other things just off of a regular calendar. We do vaccinations, we just do off of a regular calendar. So we use the counter attention to move into the farrowing. We pick the group that we need to move in, and it tells me that I have a group. This is group 0607. We just use a standard group number. I think you could put any kind of number in that group if you wanted to. And this tells me that they're on 93 days of gestation. And it can put them in order of date. It can put them in order for their ID. You just click across the top of which way you want it. Other than that, if we're looking at feed attention, you might check on here first, see if she's eating. Some days you get lucky and don't have to check anybody. There's unknown tags. I don't have any unknown tags right now. Responder attention. That's going to tell you if it's read a tag in a feeder other than it thinks it's where she belongs. These are mostly just pigs that were moved into a new location, and before I moved them on a computer, they ran through the feed station. A lot of times all 15 or 20 that you've moved have run through the feeder before you get to the computer, and you can just do it off of the screen. Just stream through and it reads all your tags. So they don't forget how to go into the feed station. Putting pigs in a small pen versus the large pen we found is feeding is much easier. In the small pens, we were dropping feed on a floor, which we did by hand, so that was much more difficult, much more labor intensive. And we didn't have control over how each of those 6 or 15 pigs ate. And you had your boss sows and you had your thin sows. We actually had a thin pen that if someone fell really far behind, you'd have to pull them out and put them in a thin pen. We don't have a thin pen here. All you do is click on a new feed curve and find the one to upfeed. Really, we haven't had much problem with body condition. Once we kind of got our eye where we want it and got our feed curve where we want it, it's been really easy. They're coming into the farrowing house the way we want them. Overweight sows are not a problem. That was a problem on our old farm. We had the boss sow syndrome. One would be extremely fat. Don't have that anymore. I would say they're the most uniform sows we've ever had, especially through 3 or 4 parities. You'd be surprised how even they get once they get past the gilt stage. So that's been very easy. Even keeping calls here has been easy. We don't take our calls out every week. We just throw them back in an open pen. We can upfeed them 8-10 pounds, start them on their way to get some more body condition, and they're not bothering anybody else. No one's getting their feed. It's really simple. And then a couple weeks later, when we want to move them to our call space, put them on the truck, and it's easy. The biggest benefit for the sows is probably just their ability to be out and about, and they look content. They probably take up less space than they would take up in a crated system. They like to be with one another. They like to lay very tightly. They leave big open spots in the pen. So I think when I walk through, I see a bunch of content sows that are comfortable and adjusted.